shall we? I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week
in Cruton.
This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers and Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter, Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I owe an apology to my friends in the studio. And not to Chicken Express. I've said nothing bad about Chicken Express. I'm only going to say good things about Chicken Express. For the better part of the last year, you guys had been trying to get me to try the mozzarella sticks at Chicken Express. And I'm here to tell you that you were right all along. They're great.
They're awesome.
They're
They
really
are good mozzarella sticks.
They're very good. And Pickle, you of all people, as the mozzarella stick connoisseur around here.
Mott's.
They were excellent. And I want to apologize to you personally for not trying them sooner.
Thank you. You called me your friend. That was cool. You've never done that before, and you just did it live on camera.
Good thing is I control the podcast. So This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, Next Level Athlete. A lot to get to in this week's edition of This Week in Recruiting. Let's start with our prospect. Which one is it?
Prospect on the
Rise. We're going to Ennis. For the first time ever, Ennis has a quarterback prospect. Quarterback Jackson Gilkey. He is committed to UTSA this week. He did that over offers from places like Houston, like Arkansas State, like Tulane, like San Diego State, Incarnate Word. Sam Houston. We've got him as the number 10 prospect, quarterback prospect in the 2023 rankings. This season has not gone to as well as Ennis fans were hoping this year, but Jackson Gilkey has certainly put up his fair share of numbers. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the headline here is UTSA beat out Houston for a quarterback, and that should be pretty impressive.
Well, that is an impressive fact. Yes. The thing that I like about Gilkey is his arm strength. He's a strong, stout kid. He's hard to
200.
Yeah, it's hard to bring down, not easily tackleable. And I've gotten the chance to watch him in some camps and some workouts and that kind of stuff. He really does have or delivers a great fastball. So I think that his upside is pretty high because he has already developed the requisite arm strength that you need to be a success in college. And Ennis isn't having the year that I think some people expected this year, but he's been their quarterback for a while now. He's racked up his fair share of wins. He's a guy who can win games. And I think this is a good get for UTSA in general. One thing I didn't put into the written report, he had a lot of Ivy League offers, so he's a real smart kid as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great student athlete.
Yeah. He is he's a star and a guy that UTSA is going to be pretty happy to have. Jackson Gilkey has pulled the triggers for the Roadrunners. Let's roll on to our commit of the week. That was a commit. But
it was. I snuck one in.
But he was our prospect.
Snuck one in on you.
But he was our prospect on the rise.
I did it
This is our
too.
commit of the week.
Snuck one in this week.
The titles don't mean anything, guys. These are just prospects we want to talk about. It's Dallas Episcopal outside linebacker Trey Williams. He committed this week to Stanford. A lot of Pac-12 and Big 12 offers on his list, including Cal, Michigan, Nebraska, and Utah. We got him as a DCTF 3-star, 86 in the DCTF Hot 100. But this is a guy who I think his game is pretty well-rounded, and what he does everything pretty darn well, and the upside's pretty strong.
They use him in a lot of different ways at Parish Episcopal, and I was trying to write the scouting report for this one, and it's easier to talk about what he does versus write about what he does because he's so versatile, and he's a guy who's like a team leader. They put his hand in the dirt, they stand him up on the edge, they'll use him at middle linebacker depending upon what's going on. He's very instinctual, he's very smart. I think he's going to be one of the highest risers outside of, he's in our Hot 100 now. I don't know if he's in any of the other Texas top 100 lists. I think he's a guy that a lot of the recruiting sites will take a strong look at based around his senior film, and he may get a bump just because he's so good. And I think that you saw in that very first clip that we watched how quick he is off the edge and how fast he can get to the quarterback, and his tape is full of these types of plays. And one thing that I have to give Parish Episcopal credit for this season is that they really played a murderous schedule at the beginning of the year. I think they went 3-1 versus a lot of state champions and teams that were really high. that we hold in high esteem.
They're still the number 1 team in the private school ranks.
Oh yeah, I think that they're the. I mean,
so
I'm not picking against them to win the TAPS champion. I don't know who could topple them.
Here's what they did in non-district. They beat Aledo. They beat Bel Air Episcopal, which is not only like it's turned into a bit of a rivalry game between those two as well. They beat them. They beat Austin LBJ. They lost to South Oak Cliffs on the last second field goal.
Yep.
Right, and then they beat China Spring. They snapped China Spring's 20-game winning streak. So yes,
I was at the South Oak Cliff game, and that was a back and forth contest. That South Oak Cliff, I mean, when they trotted the field goal, I think it was a 46-yard field goal that beat them, and people were surprised that they were even attempting the field goal. I think, and then I mean, it was just tried and true right down the middle. Parrish was kind of shocked in that one. Because it was a back and forth game, and South Oak Cliff caught fire at the end. But what was that? 3 state title teams from last year
for sure.
So I mean, he's tested.
Yes.
He's battle tested against really good players.
Keep an eye on him. He's the new Stanford commit. Dallas Parish Episcopal outside linebacker Trey Williams. Of course, Stanford has good history of coming to the DFW Metroplex.
And the players they get usually are good.
Absolutely. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, the next level athlete here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's go to our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week is Duncanville's edge rusher, defensive end, linebacker. He's that new hybrid thing, right?
Yep.
Where it's like kind of stand him up wherever you want him or put his hand in the dirt, whatever you need. Colin Simmons. The headline here is that he is our new DCTF 5-star in the class of 2024. Elevated there. He's already got offers from everyone. Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma State, or Ohio State, Oklahoma, TCU, etc. He won't be done. He's going to get offers from everyone. He's a monster, and now he's a 5-star monster.
He could go anywhere he wants. No matter who you had on the commitment list, if Colin Simmons wants to come to your school, you're just going to say okay, right? I described him after watching him this past week versus Waxahachie as a terror, and that was a game that I had circled on my schedule. I was wanting to go to that game to see how he fared, to see if he would be our next 5-star, and he easily passed it. I had a strong suspicion this was going to happen after watching him on TV versus South Oak Cliff, where he had an amazing game. But he's even more impressive in person. He's added some good weight to his frame. I mean, 225 is probably pretty accurate, but he might be sneaking up to 230. We had some of our crew from DCTF giving away a scholarship out at the game, and these guys were blown away with just how he looked just walking around in the pregame. They were like, who's that guy? Yeah, he's that type of player. And it's a little bit too early to guess where he may end up playing in college, but there's some out-of-state schools that I think that have made an impression on him. Georgia, LSU, to name a couple, and then in-state you have Texas A&M. Oklahoma's always a factor, I think, with kids from Duncanville, the DFW. But I mean, TCU might be a school to keep a close eye on this one. I know that he tweeted that when he didn't go, he was pretty sad he didn't go to the TCU OU game whenever TCU won that game very handily. So just maybe those are some schools to keep an eye on this recruitment. But of course, he can go wherever he wants. Colin Simmons, not the last you're going to hear of this young man. Let's round it all out with our recruit of the week. Our recruit of the week is one of the Ashley Pickle man crushes this year.
Dude, he's got my stamp of approval. This kid is awesome.
It's
on and off the field. He's very nice.
North Crowley tight end Kamorian Pimpton. He is the newest member of the DCTF Hot 100. He vaults up to number 71 in the state. He's our number 2 ranked tight end. He is a Vanderbilt commit, but he's continuing to get more offers, including recently big offers from places like LSU, Washington, and Auburn. Bless you.
Thank you.
But if Ashley Pickle likes you, then you're a dude.
I got to give credit where credit's due. This is Ish's guy, too.
Yeah.
Himpton, he called him.
Yeah. He's Himpton. I get it.
Himpton.
I get it.
Gosh darn it.
Love
his
his
size is crazy.
Love his senior tape. And what an addition to the North Crowley offense, right? Like, if this is a guy that you get to come in on the offseason, you got to be pretty stoked about the nature of things. And what his tape is amazing. I mean, this is just one that I could just be quiet and you guys could watch it and you would quickly understand why he's elevated within the rankings. I think more noticeably even where he sits within the state, which we kind of touched upon, like if you're in the top 75 this year, you're probably a 4-star talent, is that now he's the number 2 overall tight end in the state of Texas, which that's, putting you in a pretty elite company.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not just should be looked at as strictly a tight end. He's more of a flex to me. He's a guy who you're going to create mismatches with. Whether you split him out wide or put him in the slot, linebackers are not going to be able to cover this guy. And if you have a red zone opportunity, there's maybe no one in the state that you would rather have than Pimpton on your offense whenever you're trying to score a touchdown in the red zone.
His hands are unbelievable.
Big, strong. He's pretty fast. He's a physical freak.
Yes, entirely agree. He is a physical freak and a guy who Vanderbilt commit for now.
Holding on tight, but holding on tight, but I don't know.
I'm calling him every day.
Yeah,
I'm texting him.
Oh,
like, hey,
I bet
man,
you they are.
You up?
He gets those boxes of letters, like personal letters from everybody on the Vanderbilt stuff. I guarantee it. But this is a guy that people are going to be hot after as National Signing Day or the early signing period approaches in December.
One guy that we're always hot after here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football is Greg Powers, our recruiting analyst. Pickle is nodding over there. She's like, she agrees. She's like, we are.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at Next Level D1T. His fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Stick around.